Over 52% of learners in the UK are failing their driving test. And the really annoying bit is most of these fails could have been avoided if people just did these 5 simple checks. If you are new here, I am Josh, the driving instructor, and I actually spend a lot of time trying to work out if learners are actually ready for their driving test rather than just hoping they're ready. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 checks that I do to make sure my students are going to pass their test. Let's start with number 1. Can you drive without help? What does that mean? That means, can you drive from point A to point B for around 30 minutes following a sat-nav without anyone giving you any pointers? That doesn't mean it needs to be a perfect drive. It doesn't mean you can't make a wrong turn. It just means, can you make decisions on the road without someone helping you? And this is by far the biggest way to tell if you're actually ready for your driving test. I use this with everyone because it highlights mistakes really, really quickly. It highlights patterns that you don't see when someone's just hinting to you all the time. And the best way to do this is get a phone, get a sat-nav on there, and just get someone to pick a location. Follow that sat-nav for around 30 minutes without anyone giving you any help. Now, people get themselves very muddled with this. When I say no help, this doesn't mean they can't give you the odd direction. At the end of the road, the sat-nav wants you to go left. End of the road, the sat-nav wants you to go right. This means no help with traffic lights, no help with signs. It's a 30-mile-per-hour zone. Oh, at this roundabout, you're going to need the left lane. If you can work out this information on your own by looking at the road, you should be able to know it. And honestly, by doing this, it will highlight if there are any mistakes or issues with your driving very, very quickly. And it's also a massive confidence boost, because if you can do it on your own without any help, guess what? You feel a million times better. I feel like I can drive on my own. How's that feeling when you go into your driving test? You feel loads better. And if there are any mistakes in your driving, maybe you don't know how to follow a sat-nav properly yet, you need a bit more help. Or maybe your roundabouts needs a bit of tidying up. Or sometimes people just haven't quite nailed down their junctions. Doing this is very quickly going to highlight that. What this doesn't look like is driving from home to school the same route that you do every single day. This has to be an unknown route that you're not used to and you don't know what to expect, because that's what's going to happen in your driving test, guys. Now, if you're thinking, well, where the hell am I going to get this route from? You can get loads of apps out there. I've got one called Driving Test Expert. It is there. There's a free route on there. So if you want to just have a go at that. The next absolute priority before going for your driving test is actually understanding what a fail looks like. Let me ask you a question. How can you go to any test and not know what the pass or fail looks like? The first thing you do when you go for an exam at school is you understand, right, I need this many marks to pass. I need at least 40% to get that grade, or I'm stuffed. Well, how can you do that with a driving test if you don't know where the bar is? And it's not actually that difficult. Best way to think about it is an examiner just looks at a scale of 1 to 5. 1 is very, very low risk stuff. 5 is very, very high risk stuff. Dangerous. Pulling out on someone, going through red lights, anything illegal, that's going up there on the big bad. Don't do that scale. Anything low risk, doesn't matter. We don't really care about it unless we're doing it over and over again. Now, the reason it's so important that we understand this is because you end up with students making minor mistakes like stalling or not checking, forgetting a mirror or forgetting a signal, and they end up throwing it in the air, and they throw the bag and they're sweating and they're thinking, and then they actually make a really dangerous mistake because they're so worried about the tiny mistake that they made. So by understanding what is a really small mistake and isn't worth worrying about compared to what's a really big mistake is really going to help us mentally. And honestly, guys, half of the driving test is a mental battle. At least half of the reason that people fail is because of their driving test nerves. And nerves come from a lack of confidence. And how are you going to be confident if you don't understand where the bar is to actually pass your driving test? So that's why this is so important. It's going to boost your confidence. Check number 3 seems quite obvious. We need to make sure we can do everything that the driving test is going to throw at us. The driving test is not just about driving around in circles. You're going to be asked to pull over on the side of the road at least 3 times, and this is going to be on a normal road. This means there are going to be cars stopping behind you and having to go around you. And you need to be able to do that without losing your mind. And then on top of that, you're going to have to pull off when it's safe to do so as well. Again, cars stopped behind you and trying to go around you. And it sounds easy in principle, but we have to practice and make sure we can do it in every situation. You're also going to be asked to do an angled start, meaning park very close to a car in front and then pull off without taking the corner of your car off. A lot of the time you're also going to be asked to do a hill start, and some people have to do an emergency stop. Now you really don't want to have any of these as your first time on your driving test, so you have to make sure you can tick them off. And if you can't tick them off, just spend a lesson or an hour going over them. I often spend a whole lesson with people who need to brush up on pulling up on the left because they're struggling with it, and that's absolutely fine. Because once you can do it, once you do nail it, that's it done forever. And then the other thing, of course, is you're going to be asked to do one of the maneuvers: parallel parking, reverse bay parking, forward bay parking, or pull up on the right and reverse. And guys, I've seen it a million times. If you're going into your driving test praying, please don't give me reverse bay parking, please don't give me reverse bay parking, guess what you always get? Yes, reverse bay parking. So don't do that. Instead, spend however long you need to do becoming amazing at reverse bay parking. And that way, again, when you go into that driving test, how do you think you're going to feel mentally? A lot better. And then the final thing is you'll show me, tell me questions. I've just got back from a driving test with a lovely lad called Jasper, and I went through all the show me questions. I didn't go through the tell me questions because you can revise them at home, and he told me he had done. And then he got on his driving test, and he got back and luckily he passed, but the examiner said to him, why don't you do your questions? Like, don't you feel like a right wally not knowing the answer to the simple question that's got the answers there? And he's right, and that's what I say to people, guys. You've got the questions and answers there, and yes, it's only a minor generally if you don't know them, but you're going to be sitting there with someone that's going to decide the outcome to your driving test, and you're telling them, like, I couldn't be asked. Couldn't be asked to look at the questions. Well, what does that say about you? So you're just going to end up feeling like a bit of a wally. Now, if you're not bothered, it's fine, but personally, for 15 minutes of revision, you might as well nail down your questions. Now, again, with each of these, you need to be able to just do them on your own. You need that person to just say, when it's safe to, can you pull over on the left? Boom, no problem, no help, everything's spot on. When it's safe to, can you drive on? You pick the decision, you decide when it's safe, and you can do that repeatedly in traffic as well. If you could do that, perfect. If you're needing step-by-step instructions, not so perfect. The next big thing is, can you do this under pressure? One of my students at the moment, Bo, she's lovely, she's a fantastic driver, she drives every day with mum and dad, really, really good. But the second, and I'm talking the second, I pull out the dreaded notebook of doom, and I say, I'm not going to give you any feedback until the end of the lesson, bloody hell, we fall apart. Why? Because it's pressure. Nobody likes being judged. I don't like being judged, you don't like being judged, and that's exactly what the driving test is. You are being heavily judged. On top of that, they're not giving you any feedback, no hints or anything until the end. So you're worrying about, what are they doing? What are they writing down? But we have to deal with these things in life. I have to deal with it as a teacher. You have to deal with it in most jobs. I have to deal with it as a driving instructor, and you're gonna have to deal with it on your driving test. So what can we do to deal with it? Well, it's the same as everything else, guys. Practice. How do we practice? Some form of mock test. Now, I'm not talking strict, you get your yellow coat on and you have to be really horrible. I'm just saying, all you've got to do is do the independent driving, turn a sat nav on, point A to point B, and don't give that person any feedback until the end. Write down any mistakes that they make, and yes, you are going to make mistakes. Why? Because you are human, and humans make mistakes. The important thing is how you deal with those mistakes. Just by adding that level of pressure of not giving any information, nothing away until the end of the independent drive, that is going to be enough practice for you to feel that pressure of what the driving test is going to be like. And each time you do that, it's going to reduce how bad it feels and give you a better chance of passing your test. Because what happens is, when we're under pressure, our driving dips down a little bit for a lot of people. And when our driving dips down, if it's not at an adequate level for the driving test, that's bad. And I say that because Bo, for instance, is a fantastic driver. We drive around everywhere. She could talk, she could drive, no problem, really, really good. Second we get into mock test mode, plop. And the final one, can you recover when it all goes wrong? Now listen to me very carefully, guys. You are human. You are going to make mistakes. I make mistakes every day. Everyone around you that drives makes mistakes every day. If they tell you otherwise, they're lying. Most of the time, I say most of the time, these mistakes are very small, so they don't matter. You might put it in the wrong gear or slip it out of gear or forget a signal, forget a mirror. Or sometimes I even stall. But we fix it that quickly and it doesn't affect anyone, and so they can't even notice it, that we don't even remember it and we just move on that quickly. The problem that happens is when we're learning to drive, everything feels like a panic. And when we stall the car and we throw a complete wobbler and panic and can't fix it, that's what leads to a dangerous situation. So my honest advice, if you find you are panicking over small things, and what I consider small is something like stalling or forgetting to signal or hesitating at a roundabout, what's the best way to fix this? Practice. Go over it on purposely stalling the car if you need to in a very quiet place and learning how to deal with it correctly. So when it does happen accidentally, you're far more likely to have the muscle memory of just being able to fix it and move on. Because what happens on your driving test most of the time is someone makes a mistake that they haven't made. Maybe they leave it in second gear, forget to go to first. They stall the car, and then they either can't figure out what's happening because their mind's gone completely blank, or they panic and then they end up pulling out. And then they just start panicking about this for the rest of the lesson, and then they actually make another serious mistake because they're still worried about the fact they stalled the car that no one else cares about. So if this sounds like you, do yourself a favor, put some focus into fixing these small mistakes, build some muscle memory, learn how to fix them and deal with them rather than avoid them. Avoiding's great, but you can't avoid everything forever. As I mentioned before, if you are looking for a driving test route, something to practice some independent driving, have a look at drivingtestexpert.com. There, or it should be in the description below. It's designed to help you build confidence so you're ready to go for your driving test. It's not about the test routes. It's about the confidence of being able to drive on your own without anyone giving you any hints. Then when you get on the real thing and there's no one giving you hints, you're going to feel a lot better and increase your chances of passing first time. If this has helped or you want to see anything more similar to this, please let me know in the comments. Let me know how you're getting on, and I wish you all the best. I am Josh, the driving instructor, and I'll see you all soon. Boom!